In the figure above, an equilateral triangle, triangle ABC, shares a side with semicircle with center O. So this is the center of the circle right here. The side length AB, segment AB, measures x units. That's this right over here. So this is x units. What is the perimeter of the figure? Okay, so in order to do this, there's a few items that we need to make sure we're looking for. So we're looking for the perimeter of this figure, which is basically going to be this side x right here, this side over here, and then this half the circle, have the circumference of the circle with center O. So let's go ahead and write down our equation. We know that our perimeter is going to be equal to x plus this side right here is also going to be x because this triangle is an equilateral triangle. Therefore, all sides must be equal to x, which means that this side right here is also equal to x. That is also the diameter of the circle. So we know that our perimeter is going to be x plus another x, which is segment BC, plus half the circumference of the semicircle, or half the circumference of the full circle, which is going to be 1/2 times 2 pi r. And that's going to be basically our answer right here. And all we need to do is plug in a value for the radius, which we know the diameter, so we should be able to figure out the radius. So we know that the radius is going to be 1/2 x and 1/2 x. Right here. Each of these sides are going to be 1/2 x and 1/2 x. So segment AO is equal to half x, and segment OC is equal to half of x. And all we need to do now is start adding these things up. So here we get 2x plus, I'm just going to plug it in at this point, 1/2 times 2 times pi times your radius is going to be another 1/2 x, 1/2 x, like that. All right, and now we can continue simplifying. So this is going to be equal to 2x plus 1/2, I'm just going to write this out. I'm just going to open up the parentheses first. So it's going to be 1/2 times 2 times pi times 1/2 x. And that's going to be equal to 2x plus this 1/2 and 2 are going to cancel. And that's going to leave me with pi times x over 2. And does this look like any of my answer choices? It does not. So maybe we should try simplifying this over here. And my first step in simplifying this is going to be removing a common term, which in this case is going to be x. So I'm going to remove x out of both of them, and I'll be left with 2 plus pi over 2. Does this look like any of my answer choices? It does not. So let's try simplifying the inside of this right over here. You'll come across a lot of these things on the ACT where the solution that you're looking for is actually a slightly different form of the answer that you would get if you just did a simple solve. So let's solve the inside of it. So x will stay. And in this case, I'm going to turn this 2 into a 4 over 2, which is the same thing, plus pi over 2. And if I continue simplifying, I will get x times, and in this case, because the common denominator, I can just add the top, 4 plus pi all over 2. And does that look like any of my answer choices? And it does. It actually does look like answer choice E. It's just written a little differently. So the correct answer in this case is E for elephant.